Hello, Ignite. Welcome to the April mini flow. Since April is the month when we have Earth Day and we start to spend a little more time outside, gardening, flowers, everything, focusing on the environment, thought it would be nice to do our 15-minute flow, our mini flow for this month on grounding poses. So I'm going to lead you through a couple of poses that are designed to help you ground, become grounded, centered, that sort of a thing. So we're going to start this particular mini flow standing. So I invite you to join me in mountain pose. So we want our feet to be about a fist or so apart. So they're under our hips, nice alignment here. We're going to roll the shoulders down away from the ears. Let our arms relax at our side, palms facing out. Our gaze is going to be right across the tip of our nose, kind of off into the distance here. Shoulders and hips and ankles in alignment with one another. And I just invite you to relax here for a couple of breaths. We'll do a very brief breathing and centering activity and a little bit of stretching, but we're being as it's a mini flow. We're not going to spend too much time on those things. You can certainly add more of that for yourself if you'd like to. So if it is comfortable for you to do so, I invite you to close your eyes. Obviously, if that's not feeling comfortable since we are standing, you can leave them open, whichever is better for you. Let's take a moment to focus on the breath. Just bringing your awareness to the nostrils. Feeling each inhale and each exhale. Allowing each exhale to help the body to relax a little bit more. You might feel as if the body is sinking into the ground. Might even feel the body swaying a little bit. Just allow the body to do whatever it needs to do. Allowing those muscles to let go of the tightness and tension. I'm just taking a moment to bring awareness now to your feet. Feeling all the places where your feet are in contact with the floor beneath you. Feeling all four corners of the feet connecting. Maybe even imagining roots growing from the bottoms of your feet into the ground. Let's take a nice deep breath in. And sigh it out. We'll inhale our arms up. Keeping those feet connected, we're going to bring our arms overhead, and even though you can't see my hands there, my fingers are interlaced and my pointer finger is pointing to the sky. My room is not wide enough to get the computer far enough away that you can see every ounce of me when I put my arms up overhead, but we're going to be reaching through that finger, lengthening. And as we exhale, we're going to crunch the right side as we lean over toward that right. So we're stretching out the left side of the body. And then we'll inhale back up and lengthen. Exhale, take it to the other side. Inhaling up again and lengthening. This time we'll exhale and take a little bit of a back bend, just a gentle back bend. And then inhale up again, exhaling and releasing the arms, letting them float back down. We'll do a few shoulder rolls. Inhaling shoulders up, squeezing shoulder blades together as they come around the back and then down. It's nice and slow to loosen some things up. Again, we're just going to do a couple of warm-ups here. You can certainly pause the video and do more. Let's roll in the opposite direction. These mini flows are a nice way to just get a little bit of a yoga practice in, whether it's the only yoga you get in a day, or whether it is an additional dosage that you want to add in. So we'll bring that to a close now. We're going to come into tree pose next. So one of the beautiful grounding poses, as the name might indicate, is tree pose. So we're going to be growing roots through our feet into the floor to practice our balance. Now, if balance is not your strong suit, you can certainly move closer to the wall or a piece of furniture so that you have something to hold on to. Nothing wrong with that. And I'm going to show you some variations as we go through this. So let's start by anchoring that left leg. So we're going to shift the weight over to that left leg. Really feel, again, the foot connected to the ground. You can maybe even try and spread the toes out, really grip the ground with the four corners of the feet. You can simply kickstand that right heel at the left ankle. This is what we call baby tree. This is always one option and a great option. If balance is not in your favor and you really don't have anything to hold on to, this is a nice starting point. You can bring that foot up above the ankle, but below the knee. This is another option. See how my balance is today. Not so good. And then the other option is to bring the foot up above the knee. So we always avoid the knee. We don't want to cause any injury to the knee. And challenge with demonstrating balance poses is whether or not you can actually get your balance to cooperate with you. So here we go. Relaxing shoulders. Hands can be any place you need them to be to help you with that balance. My balance is really off tonight for some reason, but I'm just going to keep letting the pose be what it needs to be. Let it be fluid. Let your body move. Come in and out of it as you need to. Let the arms do what they've got to do. Sometimes step out of it, come back into it. You can change the arms up. Maybe you want to stretch the arms overhead. You can have your arms out. Again, whatever feels good. And then we'll release and come out of the pose, shake that out a little bit. And we'll do that same thing for the other side now. So we're going to ground through that right leg, shifting the weight over to the right leg. Again, you can kickstand the left heel at the right ankle if you need to. Or if you'd like to, that can be the place where you start the pose as well. Second option, again, between the ankle and the knee. And then third option is going to bring it all the way up into the groin area. Again, holding on to something if that's helpful. Bringing those hands to a place that assists you with your balance. Letting the shoulders relax and breathing. Again, let the pose be dynamic. And what's fascinating with balance is that every day it's different. Normally, this is my side that I really, really struggle with. But yet I seem to be doing better with it today on this side. So you just never know. And we'll release and come out of that and shake that out. Our next grounding pose is Malasana. So our low squat pose. So we're gonna, if you're standing with the length of your mat, my mat's the opposite direction, but if you're standing with the length of your mat, you can actually take your feet out to the edge of your mat, the edges of your mat, and you're gonna turn your toes out just slightly, all right, just to give you some nice base for this pose. So in this pose, we are actually squatting straight down. We try to take the tailbone straight down toward the ground. Again, you're going to go as low as you're able to. You can certainly have a bolster or block available to support you as you get down there. You could also hold on to some furniture or a wall if you needed that support. But the goal is to keep the feet nice and flat as we squat down. So I'm going to position my feet here, get nice and anchored. Oftentimes we have the hands in prayer pose to help us out with balance. Some people like to do it with the cactus arms. So again, whatever helps you with your balance. Let's roll the shoulders down, tilt the pelvis in a little bit, and then squat down. Again, trying to keep the shoulders over the hips, trying to take that tailbone straight down. And again, meet your body wherever you are. You may not be able to go as low as I am. You might only be partway down, and that's totally fine. You can also have your hands come to the ground and tilt forward a little bit if you get into trouble and start to lose your balance. Just breathe here. One or two more breaths. And we're going to come into a standing forward fold from this. So what that means is we're going to bring our hands down to the ground and sort of lean into our hands and push that tailbone up, lift up, let the arms hang. Eyes are going to look back through the legs. Just relax here. Hands are touching the ground. Feet are connected to the ground. So we're sticking with our grounding theme here. Just relaxing for a moment or so here. We're going to bring our hands to our shins and inhale, looking up for a half back with our slightly wider legs. And then exhale back down. We're going to let the arms hang as we roll up. And when we roll up, we're going to tuck that tailbone and roll up nice and slow, one vertebrae at a time. Come all the way up. Excellent. Then we'll come out of that and shake that out. Shake the legs out. And I'm going to turn sideways on my mat so I have the length of my mat. So we want to be at the length of our mat. I think I'm going to come over here and do it this way. We're going to come down into plank. So we're going to stand with our feet about a fist or so apart. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, folding forward. Hands are going to come down to the ground. And we're going to step back with our right foot and our left foot. Both of them come back. And we're in our plank. So our shoulders are over our wrists. Our core is tight. And if this is not comfortable or not available to you, you can also just drop those knees, come down into table. And we're all going to eventually make our way down onto our bellies here in a moment. So we're just going to, wherever we are, if we're in plank or if we're in table, going to breathe here for a moment or so. And then we're going to work our way down onto our bellies. And I'm going to turn and face you now for a second as I come down onto my belly. Just lowering down onto the belly. We're going to come into Sphinx Pose. So for Sphinx Pose, we want our elbows to be underneath our shoulders, and then our forearms and hands are going to be flat down on the ground. Okay. Legs are zipped up behind us, and our gaze again is off the tip of our nose, looking forward. Nice gentle bend for the low back. Just relaxing and breathing here. Again, majority of our body is in contact with the ground, so it's a nice grounding pose, connecting with the floor. If you're able to do this practice outside, you can connect with the ground itself. Either way, it has that effect of really helping us to get grounded and centered. And then we're going to press back into child's pose, another really good grounding pose. So we're going to lower down, let the hands come back under the shoulders, push ourselves back into a child's pose. So two options here. You can take the knees out wide, sink down, and have the arms extended out with the forehead down on the ground for extended child's pose. If that's not comfortable, particularly if you have any shoulder issues, then we'll bring the knees together, let the arms stay at our side, and as we fold down, shoulders are rolled down toward the ground with a nice rounded back, forehead comes to the ground. And in either of those poses, if the forehead does not reach the ground comfortably, you can always grab a block and let your forehead come down to the block instead. And we'll just take a moment here with the legs and the forehead connecting to the ground in this nice grounding pose of child's pose. A couple of breaths. And let's inhale up nice and slow. Again, this is a mini flow, so you could certainly stay in any of these poses longer if you wanted to. But for our purposes today, we're just doing a little bit in each one to give you a sense of it. So we're going to come onto our back. Our next grounding pose is going to be our supine twist. So it's a nice twist for the low back. Again, the head, neck, shoulders, and spine are all connected to the ground. Your legs, one side will be touching the ground, and then we'll go to the other side. So it's a very good grounding pose. A lot of your body is touching the floor. So let's lower down onto our back. Our arms are going to be out in a T formation, so that helps us keep the shoulders anchored down to the ground. We're going to bring those knees into our chest. And then when you're ready, we'll drop the knees over to the right. A couple of options here. If this top leg doesn't want to come down and rest on the other leg, you could put a blanket or a block in between. You could also lift this lower leg up by putting something between the floor and the leg if that's comfortable. Well, we want the shoulders, both shoulders, to stay in contact with the ground, and you'll feel that nice twist in the low back. And we'll just rest here and breathe. Head position is either going to be looking up at the ceiling or looking in the opposite direction of the legs, whichever feels better to your head and neck. Again, just feeling that connection to the earth beneath you and relaxing in the breath. Inhaling and bringing those knees back to center. Give yourself a moment to realign the spine on the mat. And then we'll exhale and drop the knees over to the left. So same thing now, opposite direction. If you need props on this side, just again, you can have something between the knees, something under the leg, whatever's helpful, so that your shoulders can stay connected to the ground and you can relax into this nice twist. And we'll inhale the knees back to center. And we're going to stretch those legs out, stretch the arms overhead. Nice big stretch, whole body touching the ground. And then we'll move into whatever position you want to be into for Shavasana. So you may choose to have something underneath your knees, a bolster or something of that sort, or you may just choose to lay flat. Again, for our purposes here with the mini flow, we're just going to let you get comfortable in your Shavasana. I'll lead you through a little bit of breath work, and then we'll come out. So relaxing the head, neck, and shoulders into the ground, letting the arms be heavy, letting the legs be heavy, relaxing the low back. Softening the jaw and throat. And once again, finding your breath. Feel the rise and fall of the belly with the breath. Allow the body to be heavy. Let it melt into the ground. Feel the support the ground provides you. Feel that connection. If you wish to stay in your Shavasana a bit longer, you certainly can do so, but for the purposes of our mini flow today, I'm going to start to bring you out, bringing awareness to the spine, to the shoulders, to the heels, and to the head. Beginning to bring a little movement into those fingers and toes. Maybe letting the head rock gently from side to side. Any other movement that feels good to the body. Maybe bending elbows or knees, or reaching arms overhead for a nice stretch. Whatever movements feel good to come back. Eventually rolling over to one side. Feeling the connection to the earth beneath you on that one side now. Resting here in the breath for just a few more inhales and exhales. And then on your next inhale, we'll slowly press ourselves up off the floor, gently making our way to some kind of comfortable seat. And as we find our way into that seat, let's find the tall spine and let the shoulders relax down away from the ears. Taking a nice deep breath in through the nose and sighing it out. Inhaling, arms up overhead, bringing the palms together at the top. Exhaling and letting the hands float down to our heart. I hope you find this grounding practice to be helpful. And I hope the rest of your day is beautiful. Namaste.